So what I'm doing now is I'm just touching it up with a little bit of sandpaper to get any epoxy that's got rough edges here on the flex trim. You can just check this out here. You can get down there closer. Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to MotorCity Boat Werks. Let's get to work. We're in the forward cabin of the Ep130 pocket trawler. This is the galley area right here. This is the, I guess we'll call it this monitoring panel here in the galley. It's a small, tiny bulkhead where I'm going to be putting some outlets, a USB outlet, 120 volt outlet, a bilge pump switch with an indicator, a tank monitor for the waste in the freshwater tank, as well as what's called the Victron Touch 50. It is a flat screen panel that kind of gives all the readout from the Victron blue gear, all the electrical gear. And it allows you to monitor the solar charging, the inverter, the DC to DC chargers, all this kind of stuff. You can monitor it from this flat panel. It's a tiny little flat panel. It's kind of a cool gadget. And it ties together with the Victron blue gear using what's called the servo unit, which kind of is like the brain, the center of the communication system for the Victron electrical gear. And all this stuff will be on this panel. This panel used to be teak. If you'll remember, we pulled it out, we made some modifications, and now we've got a very nice PVC foam board painted panel, super tight all the way around here. But I want to, just like with the helm station, I want to come up with some type of a permanently fixed trim that will come off with the panel so that everything is kind of integral and but yet gives a nice finish here. And I'm not sure if I can do this, but it's something that I wanted to try. I was successful at the helm doing that with the nav pod by using some teak and epoxy, kind of gluing everything up. It's awesome. But I want to see if I can do it down here too. Now this is a lot more challenging. Why? Because we have these curves here. Basically curve in, curve out, and they're relatively tight curves at that. So I don't know whether this can be done. Clearly you can't do it out of teak without having to mill these radiuses and do stuff. I don't have the ability to do that, and I don't have the teak to do it.
This is all part of step 5 in the process of installing the electrical system in your boat. You got to get the panel locations established, do all of the dry fittings and cutouts so that you can run the wire from point to point.
So I'm going to try something a little bit different, and what I've got here is a piece of flexible molding. This is a product called Flex Mold, and it's basically rubber. I don't know if you can see. It's basically like a rubber flexible molding. It's not PVC. I'm not sure what it's made out of. It has an interesting kind of texture to it. If you can see it, it actually has like a wood texture. Supposedly when you paint it, it looks very similar to, I don't know, oak or something like that. I don't know if you can even see the grain here. But this is a piece of 3/4 by 3/4 quarter round that I cut off and attempted to stain. It did not take stain at all. At least not with the Sickens. So I may have to go with something else. Something a little bit darker stain, maybe some type of pigment to try and get some color into this. Of course, it can be painted, it can be primed and painted, but I think I'd like to have something that looks almost teak-like. I don't know if we'll be able to accomplish that. I feel like this is too big. This is 3/4 by 3/4 1/4-inch round, and it would go something like that. And what I would do is affix it to the panel here so that it's on there permanently. This panel comes off of here. So I've got I ordered several different versions of this. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. Some of the advertising online was not exactly proper. This stuff is called Flexi Millwork, is the name of the company. I got it on Amazon. There are companies online that sell this in all its varieties, but this right here, This is supposed to be 1/4 by 1/4 quarter round, but it is tiny. I don't know if you can see that. And I mean, it almost looks like 1/8, but oh, that's not bad. The issue with this is you'd be gluing this on here. All right, so the good news is that this definitely covers up the seam here. It's so tight. Something like this. I wanted to get half by half, and in fact I ordered that, but of course the profile doesn't match. So I would like to do it the same way that I did the nav station, which is I taped off the adjacent surfaces so that basically I had a release surface, and then I epoxied this onto the piece that I wanted the trim to be affixed to, and I experimented with some 5-minute epoxy and some regular West System epoxy. That's one way to permanently affix it, is doing the epoxy. But getting it to hold its position, I have a feeling I may have to go with some sort of a brad nail, or even, I wonder if you could pin it in place. And then after it sets up with the epoxy, pull the pins out. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a screw and glue method that we use for the PVC foam board. So this will be something that we experiment with next, and we'll see what happens.
I say it every episode, MotorCity Boat Werks has no sponsors. I get compensated in no way for any of the products or the places, the people that I talk about on my channel. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and help spread the word. This channel would not be possible without your support. Thank you.
This is a good project here. This is one of those that's going to be difficult to do. You know, it's such a tight fit, and it's going to be so messy. Also, it's extremely difficult to get this flexible stuff to kind of bend. We got to go at least 1 curve, 2 curves, 3 curves, 4 curves, you know, and they're reversed against each other. This really needs to be done on the workbench. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to do this with it on the bulkhead like this. Let me turn it around and show you. See, we got to be able to go. We got to be able to go like around here, like so. Man, I can't hold this at the same time. It'd be better to be done on a bench. I'll be able to lay this out and then maybe pin the trim in place while I'm gluing it and follow this around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this black stuff. I'm going to take a series of photographs to really understand what these curves look like so that it will guide me when I'm mounting the trim. And we're going to go from this top corner all the way down to the bottom there. That'll be what we do. And then if we have to, this can be trimmed up when the countertop comes in. All right, that's the plan. This project is really more of a finishing project. You know, there are times when you're doing your boat projects, you have to kind of think ahead and imagine how everything's going to be finished. The finishing is all the little details, you know, varnishing the wood and, you know, putting in trim and all this kind of stuff. And you got to kind of project yourself ahead and think about, well, what's it going to look like? How am I going to cover up any mistakes I made? How am I going to make it look complete and look like it came that way, maybe from a factory or something? Now, you can't always do that as an amateur, but we try to get a little bit close. And this is one of those projects trying to think ahead how we're going to finish it out. This panel is part of the galley. There's going to be some outlets and some, panels on here, monitor panels that tell us the condition of the batteries and the tanks and various things like that. It's a piece of PVC foam board. It's replacing a piece of rotted teak paneling that was on the boat. We got rid of that. And it fits really nice and tight against the bulkhead there. When I did the headliner project, you can see how that looks. It looks really great. So I want to cover up the little gaps between the panel and the headliner material. Normally you would put a piece of trim on there, maybe tack it down somehow. But on this boat, I have been trying to make all of the trim integral to any removable panels or bulkheads that I have. That way, when I pull the panel or bulkhead off, the trim comes with it. I don't have a bunch of pieces lying around. Everything's kind of one piece. And to that end, I've been experimenting, trying to come up with how can I make some type of trim go around the very complicated curves that some of these panels have. I have 2 panels in the aft cabin, and then I have this galley panel, which you can see has about 4 different curves to it. Take a look. So what we have here, this is the panel, and what I've been doing over the last couple of days is experimenting with this material here called Flex Trim. It's a type of plastic. You can supposedly varnish it, although I haven't had any success doing that, but you definitely can paint it. It's flexible, and it allows you to kind of go around the corner here, and which is what I've done. I have been epoxying it as I go along a little bit each day, and it kind of takes a little bit of time. The reason I can't do it all at once is because it's very difficult to tack it down and not have it look squashed or something like that. So this process is actually working. I've been doing this now 2-3 days, and this is all solid here, and it is integral one piece. I think it's going to look really, really good. And of course, it'll be able to be sanded and painted. So today I'm going to glue this next section. We'll go all the way down here to the next curve. We'll tack it, and then tomorrow, the next day, we'll work on that curve. So that's what we're doing here. We're using West System thickened epoxy, colloidal silica mixed up so that it's a little bit like kind of a peanut butter, heavy peanut butter texture. We don't want it to run. It really doesn't take that much. And what we do is basically just put it on here. Boom, like so. We'll clean it up as we go along here. Okay. I wanted to show how to do this because, frankly, I've never done it before, and I haven't seen anybody else do it before. It's always a challenge trying to come up with a trim system, you know, for your do-it-yourself project, especially one that stays in place. There's lots of different things that you can use for trim. You can use, I've seen people use braided rope. I've seen people use vinyl type of trim. I have even seen people use small pieces of teak if they can get them to bend or something like that, or some other material that looks like teak. They bend it and then stain it to look like teak. But I thought this would be interesting to see if this vinyl stuff works, and thus far it has really been doing pretty good. It's not that expensive. You can buy it from Amazon. I want to say it costs like $20 for like an 8-foot piece. It comes in different dimensions. We talked about that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay this along here. Squeeze it down. One of the things is you got to take a look at your, don't twist it. All right, there we go. We really have a lot of extra here, but one of the things is the reason why you want it to be permanent on this removable panel is that, you know, every time you take off a removable panel and the trim comes off separately, or you have to remove the trim, well, you run the risk of damaging that trim, that teak trim. That's how your teak breaks over time. The holes get enlarged, it splinters, you step on it and break it, all kind of stuff happens. If you have trim that's integral to the panel, well, it all stays together. You just have to worry about maneuvering the panel and make your life a lot better. At least that's the idea, the theory. This one, we don't have to clamp. It lays proper. When you go around the corners and stuff like that, you'll have to clamp it using these little clamps here. And depending on where you put the clamp, you can get the material to kind of bend and lie naturally. And then you actually end up kind of clamping it past the apex of the curve. And we'll try and show you that down the road. Oh, look at that. Nice. All right, good solid fit. All right, take that off and we'll paint it now. So I think this looks pretty good. I mean, look at that. This looks good. Pretty good. I think this is a good solution to this sort of situation where you want the trim to stay on the panel and you need something flexible to be able to accommodate all these complex curves and stuff here. I think this is going to work great. So what I'm doing now is I'm just touching it up with a little bit of sandpaper to get any epoxy that's got rough edges here on the fletch trim. You can just check this out here. You can get down there closer.
Once the trim is complete, now it's time to cut out all the openings for mounting the various monitors, panels, and switches.
So I'm on the final steps here of kind of mocking up and dry fitting everything on the Galley electrical panel. This bulkhead panel is going to have all of the monitors and sensors and all this kind of stuff. They got bilge pump switch here as well as outlet here. This is a USB outlet right here. See, this is the bilge pump. Kind of dry fitting everything, cutting all the holes before we do the final paint on it. It's really tedious, but it's necessary because there are so many little things that, something doesn't fit. The screws aren't lined up properly. Something is not totally square, to everything else. It will look off to the eye. So there's really no other way to do this than to kind of dry fit everything ahead of time. Go ahead and pre-drill your mounting holes, have everything set up just the way you like it. Once I get all this kind of together here, then I'm going to take it and actually put it back inside the boat. I'll put the little electrical box back inside there, and we'll make sure that there's no interference, that nothing bumps into anything and doesn't work out. Go ahead, yeah. All right, what we're gonna do is, I hope this fits, man. We'll see what happens here. It looks like it's gonna be okay. There it goes. Ha ha! Ha ha! What do you think? Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, let's. I like it. That looks pretty good. Nice. I think when this is painted proper, it should look pretty good. I'm kind of excited. We're making progress, slow but steady. If you're interested in this sort of boat restoration, these more advanced projects and problems, check out some of my playlists. I kind of have everything grouped together by topic. You can watch through them all and watch how I do various projects all the way to a moment of completion. I hope you join me Fridays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for new episodes from the BoatWerks. I'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Stay motivated.
If you're thinking about restoring a classic sailboat or an old trawler, check out all of the videos on my YouTube channel. Consider joining the workers or taking advantage of my boat restoration consulting services. I offer personal coaching for your boat restoration project. Be sure to like and subscribe. This channel would not be possible without your support. Thank you.